Everyone, Christian here, and I want to go over a serious problem that is occurring throughout Florida. I have not seen it outside the state yet, but I'm sure it will happen just through time and probability. So this is an early stage of lethal bronzing disease in Palmettos. This was first discovered in the Tampa area, so it was in Hillsborough County back in 2006, and it has spread throughout the state. I'll tell you where I've seen it, but I'll first talk about what it is. So it is a viral infection. Like I said, first discovered almost 20 years ago. It was very sporadic at first. I first started seeing it in the Bradenton area, so in Manatee County, usually closer to I-75. I didn't see it near the coast. I saw it in some parts of eastern Sarasota County. Did not see it here around Venice, and this is, I think, one of my first times, if not the first time, seeing it in Venice itself. And I'm sure there are other palms that are suffering from this in Venice, but there are so many palmettos that you can't see every single one. There are hundreds of millions of these throughout the state. So the last time I took a trip up north, I drove through on 301. I drove through Columbia and Baker County, I believe, and I was in the town of Stark up there, and there were dozens, if not hundreds, of palms that were suffering from lethal bronzing. This is a big problem in areas like Gainesville, Ocala, all on the 301 corridor between Jacksonville and Ocala, and up in the Tampa area. I don't see it as much on the East Coast, but I do know that it exists. It does also exist in southwestern Florida from about here down into Naples, although not as prevalent. So this is an early stage of it. If I zoom in a little bit here, you'll see that the middle of the crown, it starts from the outer fronds in. So the outer fronds right now are turning brown. There is no cure for this, unfortunately. So this is just going to die over the course of the next 1 to 3 months, I would say, until the crown just collapses and just falls apart. And this was lethal bronzing was first discovered in Phoenix before it was in Palmettos. And there's just no way to inoculate. There might be a way to this is somewhat like lethal yellowing in the sense that you need to kind of find a cure and then keep the plant on. They would call it on the bottle, an old school term. A lot of the coconuts in Miami that survived lethal yellowing are still alive because they were inoculated, and sometimes I believe they still get inoculations to this day to keep them alive because they're so tall and they're historic, so they're kept alive in that manner. I could be wrong if they're still doing that, or if that was a one-time thing or ongoing. I was told it was ongoing, but I could be wrong. So yeah, this is definitely a problem. I remember this as early as, say, 2007. I saw this in the Palmetto area, which is just north of Bradenton. And if you see this in your yard, there's a couple things you can do. It's a lot like Ganoderma, where it's a viral thing. You want to just basically eradicate the entire plant. You would want to, one, chop it down, cut out all the roots, and excavate sort of a 6x6 cubed area of dirt around it. You definitely want to burn everything that you could, because it being a virus, like it'll survive just you just throwing it away or killing the plant that it is affecting. So it's definitely a big problem here because it takes, this palm is probably 30 years old, and you can even tell where this palm used to be a wild. It was just hanging out in the wild, and then it grew into right there where the trunk fattens. That's where it was taken care of. I'm next to an apartment complex here, and so there's probably some irrigation, some fertilizer, and it fattened up. You can see this one fattened up, and the ones over there also fattened up. That's probably all from some fertilizer or something human made that is affecting it in a positive manner. It's becoming a healthier plant, but it won't keep it from getting this viral infection. So it is quite unfortunate. This is the state tree of Florida and South Carolina, and seeing them die. There's hundreds of millions of these, so the potential for this to go downhill fast is pretty great. It's something that's not talked about a lot, I think, unless people who are really into palmettos will discuss it. Some people don't care because people will say, oh, there's so many of them. If a quarter of them die, there'll still be a ton. But it takes 30 years for this palm to get this size, and it takes 2 to 3 months for it to die, and that's really unfortunate. Luckily, all the other palms in this area are looking really healthy right now. We've had some good rains. It's nice and hot out. It's about 90. It's about almost 6:30 in the afternoon, in the evening, however you want to look at it. But the palm next to it looks great, and a lot of times I don't see this happening in groups. I see it happening in an isolated manner, so it doesn't seem to be highly infectious, but it does. This palm will likely cause the viral infection of another surrounding in the area, maybe within a few hundred yards. So it isn't like this palm will suddenly just kill all the other 5 surrounding it. So let's hope that is the case. It's still throwing out decent seed bracts. I don't know if they're going to be any good. That doesn't really matter, but sometimes when a palm is dying and it thinks that it's dying, it will throw out a seed bract in order to, it's a natural response to the thought of death. So, I mean, it doesn't have thoughts, but it's a plant's response most of the time. It's not just palms that do this. A lot of other plants will do that sort of thing. So anyway, be on the lookout for this if you're in the state of Florida, specifically Jacksonville, Tampa area. Definitely going to be affected by that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, enjoy talking about tropical plants, mostly palms, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification, and you'll know when I post a new video. See everyone later. Bye.